Welcome back, baseball fans. The 1956 WAR5 Project Draft National League draft results. We looked at the American League a week ago. We got 8 teams in the National League to look at, beginning with the Cubs. Dubious distinction of the worst record in the National League. They do get an exemption for Ernie Banks, even though Ernie's only $26.50, so that's advantageous because he was not expensive to begin with. You're taking $25 from that, so you should be able to fortify your team, and they do. When you look down here, you see they go 9 deep with $9 players or more, so it's going to be a pretty average. You're not going to have superstars here, but it's going to be steady. Here's Ernie's defense as a 2 at short, which is going to be great. That was the one weakest part of his game, but as a 2 shortstop, crushing the ball. Let's play to Ernie Banks, superstar here. You got a starter 8, Bob Rush. Gives up homers in Wrigley, but a good player. You have Walt Marin in right field, great everyday player. Monty Irvin, not much defense, but again, great everyday player. You got a second baseman, double play combination, Gene Baker. You got a catcher, but a 0 arm. These are steady players, and you got Al Rosen, who really hits homers versus lefties there. Sam Jones, and then it starts to flatten out a bit. But for the worst team in the National League, you can see that in the National League, there's more talent here than the American League, because the Cubs probably would have been a 500 team in the American League, competing with the Washington Senators, Kansas City A's, and the Baltimore Orioles. All right, next up, it's the Pirates. They got an exemption for Clemente, even though he's not at the top of his game either. Probably could have used it for Bob Friend, who actually was $28. So that's where the money was utilized. The exemption was just given to Clemente, and possibly couldn't have done it. Didn't need to do it. They had $27 left over. So that made it a moot point. You don't take the exemption, they have $2 left over. So they had money left over thinking they were going to find more, and there really wasn't a lot there. So there's Bob Friend, the best player on the team. 300 innings, but he's only 17-17. Bill Verdon joins Clemente in the outfield with a great defense. There's Elroy Face, relief starter. Here's Clemente, it's a 2 in right field. Hell of a better card in the 61 season, where he's a -6 arm. Great player, though. Dale Long, Frank Thomas, these are everyday players. Defense isn't that great. A lefty relief starter. And then it gets flat after that. Those are the Pirates. Next up, the Giants. Should be the New York Giants. They haven't made the move yet. Of course, we're calling them the San Francisco Giants, and we're using all the modern names. So they get an exemption for Willie Mays. He's $38. Johnny Antonelli's pretty expensive. Then you have to take a drop off a bit. It's like a 4-man team pretty much of the stars. So Mays is a double-A here. He'll be a B stealer by 61. Almost identical card otherwise. And here's John Antonelli. So hopefully you get your bang for this guy. Look at the homers there and none there. So that's actually pretty darn good for a starter 8. 20-game winner with a 2.86 ERA. So for a lefty, that's fantastic. Bill White played for the Cardinals and Giants, I think. New York Giants. And nice card for him. How about Red Shandings as a 1-second switch hitting second baseman who hits around 300? Associated with managing the St. Louis Cardinals, I guess. Al Worthington, starter 7. It's good also with Shandings to understand that they don't give you lots of bonuses for WAR, for great sparkling defense like that. It all comes from the batting average here and plate appearances and so forth. $10 player. That's a heck of a $10. A 1E6 switch hitting 300 hitting second baseman. He's yours for $10. Wow. All right, the Philadelphia. Actually, surprising that they're this high. They were also good in 19. Well, that's the Philadelphia Athletics in 1930. The Philadelphia Phillies are good here in 56. Good enough, I guess. They get an exemption from Richie Ashburn, believe it or not, because it's his best year, one of his best years. $28 otherwise. Then you have Lapata. They go about 5 deep. Actually, they're pretty steady. Only taking on negative WAR on one player. So Ashburn's in center field with a plus arm, though. Stan Lapata can really hit OPS as a catcher. Nice slick third baseman who gets on a lot as well. Willie Jones. I like these cards. Harvey Addix pitched for the Pirates here, also the Phillies. Pretty good. Robin Roberts, I think he's in the Ring of Honor for Philadelphia. Is this one of his best years? He's down the list. Yeah, 4.45 ERA. Roger Craig won the inaugural New York Mets of '62. Leading up to that, he's still reasonably good. Bob Miller has a long career into the 70s. Stu Miller throwing that slop up there. Yeah, you know, it's better than you'd think for Philadelphia. For some reason, you associate them with futility, but they're pretty good here. Next up in the National League, it's the Cardinals. They have an exemption for Stan Musial. So Ken Boyer has a great 61 and a great 56. He's $40 in 61. Here he's $32. Musial is much older now, but we're still giving him a Hall of Fame exemption because he's still producing. That enables you to get 5 guys in double digits, thanks to the Hall of Fame exemption they get. And again, the Hall of Fame exemption is just to try and get a lot of the history of baseball where it needs to be while still attempting to comport to the salary cap restrictions. So it's a tug of war, but it works. It's worked in our draft. Everybody has comported to the cap. There's no violators. Here's Boyer. What a great third baseman. People forget what a Hall of Famer he was. Here's Musial. Now he's a first baseman, so that makes him... he's not such a liability in the outfield as a 3E12 first baseman. Stan Musial. Wow, I get to use him here in 310. He must be 35 or over by this point. Wally Moon, nice little corner outfielder. Second baseman Blasingame, a lefty second baseman. Nice defense. Vinegar Ben Mazzell. He can pitch on 3 days rest. Then Willard Schmidt, he's still okay. Walks guys, doesn't give a lot of hits. And then starter 7, -1 arm catcher, and starts to go down from there for the St. Louis Cardinals. One of the better teams in the National League. 56. Getting closer to the end here. To the team, we have the Reds, Braves, and Dodgers left. So let's go look at the Reds. Okay, Reds roster sheet. Here we go. So they get a Hall of Fame exemption for Frank Robinson at 32.5. You see, Veda Pinson's not here yet, but Kluszewski is still here. I think Kluszewski is goes to one of those expansion teams in 61 or 62. I want to say the Angels. Frank Robinson, 290, 38 bombs. Well, here's a heck of a catcher. My goodness. Lefty catcher who just crushes the ball. And he's even good against lefties. Ed Bailey. 300 with 28 bombs. How about a 1 shortstop? $22 for the 1 shortstop. Whoops. And Klazuski still crushing the home runs. Wow, the Reds got some fun players, I'll tell you that. That's why they're one of the third best team in the National League. Tom Acker. Johnny Clipstein. Here's Bobby Thompson. He was actually a Brave this year. Again, the teams will start to go outside the organization as you get deeper and deeper into the draft. Usually the first 8 players, with negative WAR also, they'll take on some negative WAR to save money, but they'll start to add players from other organizations later in the draft. Now the Milwaukee Braves. Oh yeah. They get 2 exemptions in a somewhat surprising move, I guess, for Henry Aaron and Warren Spahn. There's Aaron, Eddie Matthews, Johnny Logan, and Warren Spahn. Now, you see, that would violate the salary cap, but you get 2 exemptions, again, and you even took on some negative WAR, and you had $13 left over, so it was kind of tweener-ish. But still, you'd have to have, if you didn't take 2 exemptions, you would not be able to keep Warren Spahn or Johnny Logan on the Braves. That's who they're noted for playing for. That's why we use history to make sure that it doesn't get screwed up. You know, we'd rather have history look close to, you know, versus the financial side. Here's Hank. Now, it's just 26 home runs, so this is really an outlier card. Moreover, when they go into a multi-year WAR5 project, probably they'll take one of the years where he hits 40 home runs, not a year where he's only hitting 26. Eddie Matthews at third base could crush the ball. 37 homers out of your third baseman. He's the Chipper Jones of his time, I guess. Johnny Logan at shortstop. 281. And here's Warren Spahn. 4th in value WAR as a starter 9. 20 game winner, 2.79 ERA. But he'll be on the team as he'll be one of the first pitchers on the Brave team that gets into the carryover league. Taylor Phillips is a nice ERA here as a reliever. You got a -4 arm catcher. Interesting thing about Crandall, he gets injured in 61. He's got a +5 arm. Talk about a wild swing of throwing arm from -4 to +5. That's a case of a guy just gritting it out. They had nobody else and said, Dell, I know your arm's about to fall off, but we need you to catch for us in 61. Bob Buell. Gene Conley. Actually, that 61 set will boast the -6 arm of Clemente and a +5 arm catcher. Andy Pafko, way down on the list of WAR at just $2. And see, sometimes, you know, because of participation, you find some real value in the WAR result. Because he simply didn't play a lot, so he's not going to generate a high WAR number. And the best team in the National League, it was the Dodgers. Well, look at these guys. Probably going to be, they're going to get 2 exemptions for Duke Snider and Jackie Robinson. So here's Duke, $38. Jim Gilliam at 30.5. Jackie Robinson. So that enables you to also afford Don Newcomb and Pee Wee Reese and Carl Furillo, Don Drysdale, Roy Campanella, Sandy Koufax helps him out as a young pitcher who's not what he would. He's only a marginal pitcher at this point of his career, so he's -1.5 WAR. We'll look at that. And even Tommy Lasorda is added to the list in a jovial mood I had, I guess. So that's pretty cool that they have a Dodger flavor to him. So here's Duke, a lefty center fielder. Just okay against lefties, crushes righties. Willie, Mickey, and the Duke, as we said back in New York and Brooklyn. 43 bombs. How about a nice, slick, switch-hitting second baseman who can run and steal and do everything? Power versus lefties. 300 hitting Jim Gilliam. Then you have Jackie Robinson, one of his best versatile, does pretty much a lot that you want. He's got versatility as threes, speed, on base, power, hitting 275. So a very good Jackie Robinson card. Here's Newcomb as a starter 8. With a 306 ERA, 27 game winner for a World Series champion. Just collecting victories. That's really going to elevate the WAR, but it's still a good card. Pee Wee Reese, a 2 shortstop, joining Gilliam in the middle of the infield. And then you have Carl Furillo, 1-5 in right field. How about Drysdale? Now, Drysdale, just 99 innings, but he already is a producer with a 264 ERA. Erskine Campanella, a -4 arm catcher with crushes home runs. Now, his WAR isn't that expensive because the batting average is going to drag it down. And here's Koufax. Interesting that he's just a marginal pitcher here, but he throws left-handed. Put him in the bullpen. He's got a 4.88 ERA in 59 innings. Norm Zalkin's a useful, look at that, OPS guy here. And Tommy Lasorda, the lefty in the bullpen, with control problems. So that's a look at the National League. Next week, we're going to take a peek at some of the expansion teams to see what they can get in this format. This is sort of the strategy, is to get these expansion teams some players. So are they too awful? Are they okay? Are they too good? We'll take a deep dive next week. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you then.